Hey guys, today we'll be taking a look at the Batman Masterpiece Edition, The Caped Crusader Golden Age by Les Daniels. Of course, this comes with a action figure, a book about Batman's creation in his early Golden Age years, as well as the first appearance of Batman, rather Batman 1 accurately reprinted. So first off, on the front of the box you can see Batman from Detective Comics. Can't remember which one it was. I'll put up a picture quick when I'm editing this. Of course, this is the Masterpiece Edition by Les Daniels. On this side of the box, you can see, I'm going to have to hold it diagonally just because it's so massive. Batman Masterpiece Edition, Bat Signal. Shows the contents on each side. As you can see, it's the same on each side. Then on the back of the box we have a similar setup to the front side, except you have the whole read up, Batman Masterpiece Edition, and then it talks about how it's a tribute to the original and how this is a 9-inch action figure, and then the comic book and the book. And this originally sold for $65 US. I got this for $30 at my convention in May, and I just now decided to get around to a review of it. So without any further ado, let's look inside of what comes with the box set. So here is the box set opened up, and as you can see, there is a flap for the Batman comic itself. I'll just move over here. And there's another readout up, pretty cool read-up about Batman and how he first appeared. Batman #1 in a cardboard flap right here. We'll get into that in a second. The Batman book is held in by this nice little... Oh, the figure is kind of hard to stand up vertically, but... Alright. But, as you can see, there's a nice little strap holding him in there. There's the book itself. You can have Batman in the front, or if you really want to, Robin. We'll get into the book again a little more. And there is the figure itself, the 9-inch Mego style Batman. So just to show off, the one main problem I have with this packaging is, as you can see, the book is quite nice. Mine is still in very good condition, pin up on back. But as you can see, it's set up so that this is actually a separate piece. I would have preferred like a bag and board type thing that they attach to this, that you could just slide it in the bag and out. Although this looks really cool, unfortunately, since it's not built in, there's this back piece, so you have to be very careful to align it. Otherwise, you can get chipping on the back of the book. Mine is fine because I've been careful with it. But that's always a concern, so you might want to replace this if you're really a condition guy, but since I won't take mine out and read it that often, I will keep this intact. But that is a pretty cool little addition. Of course, slide it back in. You got to be very careful. I suggest you slide it books in first, and then spine side, and just slide it right in. So as you can see, it's fine, but that's something I probably would have preferred. And then the book is in there. I really do like how, let's take out the Mego type figure. Just the flap slides down. As you can see, very cool background, Bob Kane-ish illustration there of a city street. It even has that that whole city background type deal. So very cool looking figure and display case in general, and I know that actually that's surprising. So without further ado, let's look at the individual parts. First off, we'll look at the figure itself. Alright, so here we have the figure, first appearance Batman out of package. Of course, as I said earlier in the review, this is his Mego style. First off, let's look at his accessory. Very nice looking batarang, kind of a standard piece, but that's okay since it's in the golden age style, and of course it wouldn't be as detailed as, say, something that came out nowadays. So cool enough Batarang, fits in his hand nicely. So let's get on to the figure. As you can see, this figure is made almost entirely, well, of course, of plastic, but the pieces that are his clothing is made entirely of cloth. Of course, I like how the black cloth is used in the same texture, so the cape and his little pants there are made of the same stuff, and then all this gray is made of the same stuff. The fabric is actually quite nice. It does stretch well, so you can see the definition of his arm, hides the articulation well. I would have liked cloth gloves just to go along with the theme, although I think that might have been a factor with the articulation in the hand. Might have ripped the packet or the cloth on that, so that could have been potentially a difficulty there. And then the cape has the blue inside cloth and the black outside. I do like that. It also has wires in it, so you can bend and form it how you'd like. I don't want to mess with it too much, because since it's in cloth, it would be pretty difficult to fix. But I do like the head on it. Of course, it's made out of the semi-squishy plastic. I don't like how long the forehead is. I wish that was trimmed down a tad. But other than that, it looks pretty nice there. So yeah, as you can see, the paint looks nice. The sculpt looks nice. I just would have liked if it was a little smaller. He is very reminiscent of your first appearance Batman figures and does look quite nice. I would have liked if they used a lighter utility belt as well. As you can see, let's compare him to first appearance, or a darker utility belt I meant, Batman. I pulled this guy out to compare him to. You can also see the cloth on this guy is a lot darker. Looks a little better in my opinion. And the forehead too. But of course this is in Mego style, so it would have been harder to get the darker cloth, and this is most likely closer to what he would have looked like back in the old days, so it's not a huge deal with the plastic. Another thing that you can do with this Batarang, if you choose not to display him holding it and don't want to put it away, you can stick it in there. Looks a tad ridiculous, but that's an option if you want, and that's how I had him in the box. So articulation on Batman, his head can swivel. I'd be careful with it because the plasticky feel, I feel like it might break up if you're not careful. Of course, the cape has its array of movement, including all these metal pieces or plastic or whatever they're using on the inside are movable. Arms can move out. They can actually swing, bend at the elbow. I believe it's a single joint elbow. But maybe it's double joint, I can't really tell. Hands can swing around and move. Finger bend. Of course, his abdomen can move. His legs are on ball hinge. They can't swivel, but they can bend at the knee. No twist at the boot, but the foot can move quite well. So, considering this is a semi-older figure, I think it's from the earlier Toy Biz days of Marvel Legends, he really doesn't have terrible articulation, also considering his size. So let's quick put the Batarang back in his hand, just so that's not laying around, and let's get a couple size comparisons. So first off, let's compare him to the 3-inch Deadpool Marvel Legend. As you can see, this is about 3 3/4 inch. He's much bigger than that. Move that guy off to the side. Next, the 6-inch Batman figure. He is again trumps him in size. But oh. Alright, so let's move him over here. And finally, let's compare him to this Captain Action Dr. Evil remake. Of course, he's smaller than him. by a couple inches. So, overall, I do enjoy this Batman figure. He looks quite nice, good articulation, and a nice addition to the set. So I'll give Mego style Batman probably a 7 out of 10, just because he has limited articulation and I don't love the forehead. But next off, let's look at the book itself, the comic book that is, and then we'll get to the book lastly. So thanks. Alright, so I'm back with the book. Before I get into the book itself, I do want to point out that you can remove the entire piece if you want to display the book by itself. Take the box apart and display it in several pieces. That is an option. Taking it out. Again, the box is just plain black, nothing much to see, but that's a cool option if you wanted to review it separately or put it on a bookshelf or something like that. So here is the book. Of course, one problem with the Velcro is it has this little bend here. I continued to use that. I wouldn't have used it initially, but I started to use it because the last guy used it. So as you can see on the front, you got Batman from his golden age, right when he got Robin. Very cool. In the back we have Robin. There's some specs on it, dust specs. That was from the previous owner. Batman the Golden Age by Les Daniels and Chronicle Books. So just a second, let's open this up. Just move this back off to the side. Alright, so let's open up the book. Take a look. I'm going to take off the dust jacket and throw that off to the side. So here's the book up front. As you can see, it is the serialized version of Batman, I believe. It says Batman Les Daniels again. Very nice hardcover book. Very cool. Robin's also on the back. I do like that. I was almost tempted when I got it to display it without the dust jacket because I almost like this better. I think it's really cool. So just to show you the front, it has really cool I like how it's kind of unrestored scans, so you can see just how the paint like fades over time and all that garbage. It's pretty cool. I'll actually get into the book and like talk about it using some computer effects and scans, but first off I just wanted to show you how it looks in the hand. So there's the book. Let's get into talking about the book on the computer. Alright, so finally, here's the comic book. I just wanted to compare its size to a couple things. First off, here is, I've been reading a lot of Batman lately, as always. So, I just wanted to compare it in size. As you can see, it is about as tall. Actually, it's a little shorter than a modern day Batman issue, Batman 699. But it's a bit thicker, so very cool there. And actually, I should probably grab one more thing to compare it to quick. So just quick here, I'm going to compare it to two other books. Oh, my bad. First off, I'm going to compare it to Action Comics 108. As you can see, it's as long, but it's still a tad shorter there. So very close to that size. So that off to the side carefully, quick. One more book I'm going to compare it to is my Detective Comics number 359, first appearance of Batgirl. As you can see, again, longer but a tad shorter. So it's close to accurate size for the Golden Age. And let's just thumb through it before I get to the story and all that good stuff. As you can see, the pages aren't the treated pages like you'll see nowadays, but is actually like one of the older days. Very nice that they kept it white. I assume they restored the colors. They obviously didn't use the other ones. They got the side stories in there too, which I find to be quite cool. I don't know if they kept the ads or if there just weren't any ads in there, because there are a few ads and side things like strictly publicity. Very cool. As you can see at the end, actually I think they did keep the ads, because right there, Joe's complete outfit for $2 even has the cutout in there. Joe's Detective Comics 40 now on sale. So this is actually 2 months after the first appearance of Robin. I just found it quite cool. It even still kept the cutout and frame on that. So this is pretty much as accurate of a reprint as you will ever get to Batman 1. That is quite cool. The colors are quite vibrant, but they printed it accurately. It's just a very cool issue to own. So I'll actually take some scans and such from this issue, which I better go read quick the first appearance in my Chronicles edition, because I don't want to mess up this one. So I'll be right back and show you a review of this book.
On to the book. First thing I want to comment on is the great use of pictures and graphics. There are a lot of close-ups on panels that look almost pop artish because of the use of the accurate original panels with the original coloring, and the color dots look great and make it look really cool. This book is very interesting, mostly focusing on Batman's conception, showing Bob's early pre-Batman sketches and many of his influences such as the Bat, Zorro, the Shadow, and even Da Vinci's art. This book also gave us some great real Batman pages that help the reader know what he's talking about in context, and it really helps the story. Once in a while, the book will also throw in some extra articles such as detective stories telling the reader about detectives from other stories that helped inspire Batman. These are fun to read, and another great example of this is Batman's Rides, which talks about Batman's various vehicles of the Golden Age. Not to mention, it also talks about the origins of many Batman villains, such as Joker, Penguin, and Two-Face. It also goes into some depth on the original Batman serial, which is a lot of fun, showing off many promotional posters and other various pictures. The art on the page after page 68 shows the process of Bob Kane actually creating a Batman cover, which is a really cool page to look at, so I definitely advise checking that out. Other than that, this is a great goldmine of special features and extras on the conception of the Caped Crusader. Finally, onto the comic. This set, as previously mentioned, includes Batman #1, which was a monumental book in Batman history. Not only is it the first book to have Batman's namesake, but also is the introduction of both the Joker and Catwoman. It includes 5 stories, 2 Joker stories, including his intro and his devious return. These stories are quite good, and he's more of a psychological killer than the batshit crazy Joker of today, and yes, that pun was intended. You have a telling of Batman's origin as well, which is very cool, and next, the Catwoman story. In this story, she's called the Cat. The cat tries to steal an emerald necklace, however, her plot is foiled by Batman at the end of the story. Catwoman attempts to escape, but Batman doesn't catch her on purpose. The final and least important story to the history of Batman is The Giants of Hugo Strange. I won't go into that one. The writing in this book is very fun and very classic Batman. If you've read any classic Bob Kane books before, you'll be able to tell the style, or should I say Bill Finger, as he was the writer. The art is quite good for the time, and is like the story in the way that it is very classic Batman. Overall, this set is great for Batman fans, old and new. Toy fans have the Mego-like first appearance Batman figure. The Batman comic fans have the book and the comic book, which are both overall quite fun reads and quite enjoyable. And as a fan of both, I really enjoy this set. Overall, the Golden Age box set gets an 8.5 out of 10.